and welcome to another episode of Ninja Banter. I, myself, Scooter Ray, born in 1986, graduated from high school in 2005. I don't need them looks around you.
He was born in what year?
86.
86?
He graduated. Yeah, he graduated in 2005.
And I was born in 86. Aranya, you.
Hello, I am Irania Mist, and I was born in 1980, and I graduated in 1998.
Damn.
Now you see why my face was looking like that.
I'm playing.
I guess I'm next.
Yep.
Yes.
So it is I, Cosmic Boss, and I was born in 1987, shortly after Scooter Ray, and we graduated the same year from the same school, 2005. So.
And I am Neon Xerxes. I was born in 1981 and I graduated in 1999.
So I'm the old motherfucker.
Oh,
if you wanna put it that way, then yeah.
I'm the baby.
So I'm pretty sure you're probably wondering why we gave y'all year of birth and year we graduated high school is because we will discuss the generational gap between, I guess, myself and Boss and Aranya and Xerxes. Now, to introduce the topic, it was a conversation between Aranya and Boss, so they can expound the conversation.
So for everyone who watches all the time, I incorporated Boss into Neon Xerxes and I group. How many years ago?
You were
around what?
When you was
2015, 2016?
Yeah,
Something
so
like
it was like maybe 2015, I think. And so Boss and I know his mom. So we actually met before then. We just didn't really realize it until we were just sitting down talking about it. So then Scooter Ray is Boss's bestie. So then I met him. So Boss and I have lots of conversations because we're normally ripping and running the streets together like savages. We like to find food and fun things like that.
Like Timon and Pumbaa.
Exactly. So we talk about the most
which is which?
Nope. Nope.
See how I look at you?
Nope. Nope.
It was my inquisitive nature. Sorry.
So we talk about a lot of different things because, as you can see, we are all of African American descent, and we all grew up kind of differently. And there are things that I did that I was like, oh yeah, I blah, blah, blah. And Boss would look at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, you're not that much younger than me. And so we go back and forth constantly, like, how is it that you don't know this and this and this? And you're not that much younger than me. And so that's kind of how the conversation began, because it doesn't seem like we're that far apart in age, but like generationally, the shit that I talk about, neither one of them, they're looking at me like, oh, we heard about that. And then they make me feel like an old woman, an old nasty woman. So that's kind of how the conversation started.
That is pretty much it. And like Aranya said, we had met many years ago, like 2011, 2012.
2011, yeah.
At our company now, that we work for the same company now.
Yeah.
when they semi-valued their employees, and they threw their employees a Christmas party. So my mom wanted me to escort her there, and so I basically went up there, and I went to the company Christmas party with my mother. Sat at the table and met some of my mother's coworkers, one of which happened to be Aranya, who I've later found out Like didn't even speak to her that whole night. After I met her, I was just like, all right, nice to meet you. I'm just here. I'm window dressing. That's it.
In the back. He just sitting there like,
I'm in the back eating this free food. just here
Acting
to
fat.
accompany my mother.
Acting fat.
That's it. That's it. Like me in school to be saying, since high school, I was acting fat, just eating free food as much as I could. Come to find out years later, Aranya incorporated me into their group. And the first night I met them, I met Aranya, I met Zerk, and I met another mutual friend, Trinika. I was greeted by Zerk, and I was like on the phone with Aranya as I was pulling up to the complex. I was like, there's a lot of dick. There's a lot of iglets around. So at this point I'm driving the Suburban, who we all know is Annabelle. the Annabelle the Suburban. And I get met by Zerk. First thing I see, because it's night, is a gun. So
we had to make sure. We had to make sure that he wasn't going to rob us.
So I met with a gun, and then from there on, we've been friends ever since.
Oh yeah, because we wanted to make sure that he wasn't crazy. Because another little small tidbit of background: Zerk and I met in 2008, 2009, and we instantly clicked, and we were like, cool, and we love video games. So we were always in search of someone else to play with us. And so we were auditioning people left and right, like, you're not a good player. We don't want to play with you. And if you can hold up against me and what I have to say when we play Mario Wii U.
Mario. That's it. Mario.
Then you're in. Wii. So clearly, wait.
Just say Mario on Nintendo. That's it. If you can hold up to the assault and abuse that will come your way while playing Mario, because you're going to play co-op first. Don't jump into Mario Kart just unless you got crocodile scales. That's it.
Hang on. I gotta add in a fun side note on this Mario talk. So we were used to playing, myself, Aranya, another mutual friend, Netta, God rest her soul.
God rest her soul.
We were used to playing Mario on the Wii U, just normal side scroll. Well, one day, Aranya, I guess maybe went to GameStop. I don't know where we went. We picked up Luigi U. I mean, it looks like regular Mario game. It's exactly like Mario Wii U. And we crank it up and don't realize that every level you are running out of time. It
from the start.
With you running out of time. Mm-hmm. You have to go and basically free run your behind through them levels. So I was elected because you had the one character that couldn't die. Nothing would hurt him. I was elected to be that character, and I had to, guide everybody through the level. We never beat that game, neither.
No, that game is hard as shit.
We beat Mario Wii U because that's all our Facebook memories that night.
Yeah.
Sound like a bunch of quitters to me.
No, sir.
No. First of all,
Junkyard Dog, we didn't ask for your opinion.
Oh, he came for you.
But yes. So,
anywho, but we did beat Mario Wii U because that night it was myself, Aranya, Trinika, and Netta. We all played together, 4-player co-op, and we beat the game that night because I think Aranya, you might have took pictures, so it shows up in our Facebook memories.
I sure did. Because I'm gonna tell you something, Scoot. If you've never played any of the Marios on the U systems, everybody's on the same screen. And if one person you jump in and one person ain't jumping too, you are falling to your death. And that is how people get cussed out. That is how Boss originally got his first cuss out from me, and he was afraid because he probably thought I was a nice lady.
Wait. Before we really get into this, let's really discuss Boss as a teammate here.
Look,
Boss
hey,
as a teammate, although he is a good teammate, there will be times this guy will be way up yonder, and it's like, fam,
Yes,
we
I've
just
noticed that. I've been noticing that.
And we yelled.
Leave us behind, man.
And again, you cannot progress if everybody on the screen is not progressing. So if he's way up here, he's not going to make that jump. And you know, some of those Mario jumps are like this. And you go up into the hole, into the lava, and then the bubble up. Right. And you like this.
Slander and calumny.
No. This ain't slander.
Yeah, it's telling the truth. But since we opened the door about playing games with Aranya, there's a certain lingo that we use called a flicky moment. And so I'm going to tell y'all, because I don't know if Boss knows about this. Scooter, I don't think we've ever told you this. What a flicky moment is.
Y'all tell me.
You did? Okay, so I'm going to tell the audience.
Wait. Before you say that, I just need to remind the viewers, I'm the potty mouth. Zerk doesn't cuss. He doesn't do all of that. Go.
Okay. So Aranya had one of her systems, that Genesis collection. And it has
360.
Okay. And it had some hidden games on there that you had to accomplish something in one game to unlock the hidden game. I was trying to unlock Shinobi Arcade, the Shinobi Arcade version. Okay, that's a classic side-scrolling game. I had it on the Sega Master System as a kid. But this was the arcade version. Okay. You had to play the game flicky. Okay, and this is like an Atari 2600 or 7800 style game with more updated graphics. You just a bird running around a screen picking up all these other little chicks, and you trying to get them to safety and avoid this cat. Well, when you get them, they form a chain, but the cat hits you and breaks the chain. So, and I can't remember if the longer the chain, the more points you get. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I think the accomplishment is I had to get a certain score to unlock the game. So I guess maybe I was getting frustrated, but the moment happened when I finally accomplished what I was trying to do. And the sad thing about it was that she was trying to record me while I was doing it. And when we had my perfect reaction, we weren't recording. When I had the perfect reaction, is when I finally got the score and got the achievement. I was like, that's it. Screw this game.
And he threw the controller down.
That is the flicky moment.
Oh my God. And it was so like random because I was like, okay, cool. Now we can play. And I was like, oh shit. And he was like, screw this goddamn game. And he's like, I'm done. And I was like, okay. He was so passionate. But we have been sitting there for a long time.
Now, to Zerk's credit, I have played Flicky. And I can see the frustration.
Yeah.
Because when that cat comes through, all those chicks just go everywhere and you like. And then the problem is, of course, you have to realize I am in the teens playing an early game.
And you try to breathe through
make it less frustrating.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, boss.
Yeah.
Why do you not think that there's a gap, a generational gap between us?
The generational gap. Depending on your source, we're all millennials here. So, and Aranya does not like that. She does not like the designation. She does not like being a part of the group that she is a part of. But like my and Scooter Ray's generation, we are the last ones to be raised without the internet. we are the last ones that know what life is like before the internet came about, because we were there as well. It was already around, but it wasn't public. But when we were children, and then like towards the '90s, it started popping up. AOL happened. Southwestern Bell, you dialed in. Um, so we like had like that last bastion of like children that would go outside and play, come inside, play video games, read, do all this stuff. And then the internet happened, and then social media happened a few years later with like MySpace, Friendster, and like the other early ones. And we had, what was it, AIM and Tagged, and you had your AIM address and everything. But so like in Zerk and Aranya's generation, they were children of the 80s and teens of the 90s. So they experienced like basically the ground floor of the pop culture boom, to put it simply. Like all the stuff that's getting like remade or redone basically came from their era. So, it's the gap is there, but it's not sizable as it would be for like, let's say, a Zoomer and a Gen Xer. It's not that sizable.
This is where I kind of slightly disagree with you, boss.
Mm-hmm.
So last Friday, when Zerk and I were playing Call of Duty, and when you and I were playing Operation Tango, and I even told Aranya this the other day, I told all three of y'all the Power Ranger fact, which was since its inception in '93, there has been an iteration of Power Rangers every year since, except for 2010. You, boss, reacted the way I thought you would, which was like, oh shit, really? Zerk, I ain't watched that shit. Aranya, I ain't watched that shit.
Period.
I mean, well okay. Zerk said it without saying it. Aranya just flat out, I ain't watched that shit.
I ain't watched that shit. Weird people dressed in uniforms.
So our 6-7 year difference has to be enough. If in '93 they were close to the ages of the Power Rangers, and they was like, man,
right?
Fuck is this
well, like you got to look at it like this. For that, it's Power Rangers was a Japanese show that was ported over here to America. Like basically, if you ever watch an episode of Power Rangers, every time you see the American kids, that's the only part that was shot here in America. The people in the suits fighting the monsters and all that, those are Japanese actors and actresses from a different TV show over in Japan. So, by the time that show came around, they were probably watching Real World, St. Elmo's Fire, whatever other just 90210.
St. Elmo's Fire, ain't that an old people show?
Yeah, fuck you.
They were watching Good Times and 227 and all that. From their era, they had to watch it.
How old do you think they are, my guy?
2,800. I don't know, but
I'm gonna hit you in the face tomorrow.
Jesus.
But so like they were
still technically the ages of the Power Rangers.
Well, that's the thing. They were teenagers at that point, 12 and 13. So you got to remember what time Power Rangers came on. Like, it was like, what, 4 in the afternoon, 3:30, 4 in the afternoon when that was coming on?
At home. We would have been at home at that time.
Yeah, they would have been at home, but they weren't home.
When Power Rangers was big here, Aranya and I were in middle school at that time. Mm-hmm. I remember, I saw an episode or two, but it wasn't something that I was just excited to watch. I recall a lot of times when I was watching after school, like during that time period, I liked watching Tiny Toon Adventures. I liked watching Animaniacs. I used to watch Saved by the Bell. One thing you have to look at is like Aranya and I, we're, like you said, we're children of the 80s, teens in the 90s. You also have to think about formative years when you're aware of things
Right.
Because that tends to kind of shape you, Like,
Mhm.
all right, we're born in 1881. So a lot of music from the early 80s, we didn't become aware of it to maybe in the late 80s.
Right.
Like, 80s, 80, between 87 89, 89. And then that song is, we were toddlers when it came out.
Mhm.
But we are now in those formative years, we become aware of it and can remember it. Like Cameo's Candy is an early 80s song. But
Wait. Hold on. Before you finish, shouts out to Craig of the Creek for including that in one of their episodes.
Hey.
But go ahead, Zert.
But I remember, like in the late 80s as a young child, seeing the video, I love that song. When I was a kid, I used to love that song. And
Didn't know what it was about.
yeah. And I was just kind of appalled at the music video because old buddy was wearing the athletic
cup.
My parents, they were entertained by the fact that I was like, what the heck is going on with this? It was just weird to me.
Yeah.
And then another thing I did as a child, because another thing that was big around that time was Tina Turner had the What's Love Got to Do with the video. Mm-hmm. And they got a lot of camera shots of her legs. And I used to, as a kid, I say she had pretty legs. My mother thought that was so cute.
But you know what? To piggyback off what Zerk said, and actually I had this conversation with you as well, Scoot. Like in high school, to me, is when you really, middle school, high school is when you really start to listen to music and you start to think about the words. Now, if they were talking about something sexual, at that point, you're kind of, you may not have had sex, but you're aware, versus being a kid. So like I was telling Scoot, I remember exactly where I was when I found out Tupac died. And we were all at a football game. And if Trina was still here, we were all crying like, because I didn't know anything about Digital Underground until I heard I Get Around, because I love me some Tupac, and Biggie and stuff like that. So it's like, it hits different when you are in high school. You can buy your own music. You're not listening to the Sunny 99.1 because that's what your daddy said you had to listen to. That's for you, daddy. And you're not listening to all that. You're incorporating other stuff. And I started listening to R&B and loving Tevin Campbell. I got to meet him, and Escape and all that. And it's like music hit different. And alternative music, especially for me as Boss, shut up, Boss. I always make Boss put on 90s alternative music when we're driving around the city. I'm like, good old 90s alternative, because I love alternative music. So like the Nirvana and the Cranberries and stuff like that. So it's like your appreciation for the things that we may have been listening to when we were teenagers and we were able to save our money and go out and buy a cassette. You looking at it like, what? Because Biggie Hypnotized was my Friday song. I had the cassette. Put it in and drive around and be like,
I thought you told me it was an 8-track.
He got jokes.
I'll kick you.
He got jokes. He's trying to say we had 45 records.
Right.
And I had a 45 vinyl. I had that George Harrison. I got my mind set on you because I used to love that song as a kid. And my dad went and got it for me. I had a little 45 record. But I would say, that Scoot and Boss, y'all are the playlist generation. Arania and I are the mixtape generation. Mm-hmm. Because, I remember I can't remember what the first piece of music, the media that I owned. Because I was a kid, young kid, elementary age, when my dad got me that record. And then my first hip hop album was a cassette. It was a DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. He's the DJ, I'm the rapper. Because I needed something for a school project, and I just grabbed that, So that was the first rap album I ever owned. But I was thinking about this a couple of hours ago. Was thinking about how we used to make mixtapes, recording stuff off the radio on a cassette, right. And then
I did that too.
When CDs came out, you be taping your homeboys CDs, like Willie, my cousin, when he got a stereo and CD player, I remember spending the night at his house. I used to make mixtapes, recording the stuff he had on cassette because I didn't have a CD player.
Yeah, my first CD was Freddie Jackson. Say something. Say something about it. It was Freddie Jackson, and I was excited.
Which brother of Michael is that?
Huh?
No. Ignore him. Ignore him.
No, what he said?
Ignore it.
Did you say what Jackson brother was that?
Yes. Yes.
I can't stand
Ignore
it.
him.
I'm gonna hit him tomorrow.
And I gotta say, also, Aranya, the '80s had some great goddamn music across the spectrum, be it pop, rap, R&B, and because we had some.
I disagree.
Huh?
I disagree. I think the 90s was the best for alternative and R&B. Now, and rap too, because I mean, the rap when it first came out to me was shaky at best.
Well,
I know.
I have to say,
unpopular opinion.
I think alternative rock really got big in the 90s. Yeah, I have to agree with you on that because Nirvana popped up in like 1990 because I like this song "Come As You Are." I used to see the video on MTV when MTV played videos.
Oh my God. Do y'all remember that?
Yep.
Yes. I'm 34. I'm not like 24.
But I mean, they used to play whole videos, BET too.
Yeah, video song. with Donnie.
Man, Donnie Simpson and Sherry Carter. Shout out.
But I can say though that some great R&B came out of the '80s because Keith Sweat. I mean, he made some classics during that time. To me, like "Make It Last Forever," "Right in the Wrong Way to Love Somebody."
I can never stand his voice.
But it's still
it'll catch you off.
That's all one of the songs that you hear and you got to go. Woo! You got the song.
I remember somebody I knew in college said Keith Sweat sounds like a mountain goat singing. Is the best description of his voice they could think of.
I can't argue.
They didn't diss his songs or his singing ability. They just said it sounds like a goat singing. And I was like, what?
But there's something else I thought about too, and this could be a sticking point with different folks. And really, this isn't pertaining to the difference between ourselves and the ninjas, but just the generations as a whole. And I guess it more pertains to a sense of humor. I think that given what me and Aranya came out of, like the children, like people around our age, I think our skin is a little thicker.
Absolutely.
Because, we came up, like for instance, I had this conversation with somebody about, things that you couldn't get away with today that wasn't a big deal in the 80s. So, and this is not to excuse like when people do some jacked up, racist, bigoted stuff. Like if you do something stupid, yeah, you get taken to task. I'm not excusing that. So, for instance, Revenge of the Nerds.
Whoo!
Classic movie. Is this dumb fun? Revenge of the Nerds is dumb fun.
It is.
It is.
Lambda.
Yeah, come on. But with the way stuff is set up now, it's like we probably couldn't have anything like that now. Like for instance, the panty raise scene is an iconic scene. It's just dumb fun, and it's kind of funny, especially how blatant Booger was when him and Takashi was running down the hall and ran into that big old woman. Booger didn't care that she was like, he was like, "Step aside, mama. I want to see some of that muff."
I love
Revenge
of the Nerds, so I understand what you're saying. So there's when I think back on that first Revenge of the Nerds movie, there's 3 parts, 3 main things I remember that would not fly today. Number 1, the panty raid. Number 2, the cameras after the fact. Like number 3, the bounce house scene.
Yes.
So those are the 3 main things that I know would not fly today. The rest of the movie probably could skate by. Like
And,
because there was talk many years ago of remaking it and just gender swapping it, but like it's those three things. Nah, that would not fly today.
the character
Like
of Lamar might be an issue.
like
Because comedy is supposed to be the character of Lamar, the only black nerd, and so he might.
oh yeah.
But since it's comedy, it's supposed to be satirical of everything. It's supposed to make fun of everything. It's comedy. That's the purpose of it.
Yeah,
But he will be an issue. And also another thing that came out of our generation was In Living Color.
absolutely.
That's something. Hey, that was the thing.
Snap in the
You
circle.
watched In Living Color. You used to
Absolutely.
talk, then you come to school Monday and everybody be talking about it. So that in Living Color had a segment on there that was god dang hilarious, but it wouldn't fly today. Even though it's comedy, it's satire, it wouldn't fly. And that's the Men On skits they used to do. Hello, I'm Blaine Edwards and I'm Antoine Mayweather. That
Make 2 snaps in the circle.
there you go. And you had some great jokes came out of there. So Scooter and Boss, are you aware of the skit I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
What was it?
With
What was his name?
David
Tommy
Allen Greer?
Davidson and
No. The Men On was Damon Wayans and David Allen Greer.
David Allen Greer, yeah.
And
okay.
of course it was over the top because it's comedy. And it's supposed to just make you look at yourself and laugh at yourself, But if we were to, it's like stand-up comedians, they really can't do their job these days. Some of them still do it, but they can't do it without catching flack. Back in the day, you probably catch flack, but you still
Nobody
do it.
cared. Nobody was that sensitive. They were just like, yeah, whatever, who cares? And they gone about their day. Now it's a whole petition to have you canceled.
Well, not only that, but Boss and I did, I guess, kind of sort of caught the tailwind of y'all's generation as well, because a lot of that stuff, granted, y'all might have been more aware of it. I've seen it as well, or I listened to it as well, just probably not knowing necessarily fully understanding what it meant. But and all of what y'all saying is absolutely true, because looking at TV now, looking at comedy now, looking at the way people react to stuff now, it's just like, I didn't think it was that serious.
Right.
But then when you start seeing comment sections, and then when you start to see the way people like break stuff down, and it's like, how did you get there?
Right. Like I watched them went on.
How did your mind?
I'm laughing at a joke.
Like, how did your mind take it there? Like, and it's just crazy to me that, because, like, for instance, you could even take my shirt, for instance. This is like Jared and my childhood here. But y'all might have seen it, but y'all might have been like, it's there.
When I worked at the daycare,
this was like everything to us.
Oh, well, hang on.
We were watching Thundercats.
Looking at your shirt. I like looking at your shirt. Ren and Stimpy and Rocco go hard.
Yeah.
Rocco's Modern Life is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Because them cartoons had them. So a lot of that stuff wasn't for kids.
Really. No cartoon. Look, that's the thing.
That's another thing about the Courage the Cowardly Dog and something else crossover. Did I say that? Guys? It's something.
I saw the trailer already. Courage the Cowardly Dog and Scooby Doo. Yeah.
Yeah.
But cartoons going back were never for kids. Looney Tunes, Disney, never for children. And that's not to say the content wasn't for them. It's just it wasn't disseminated to children, because Looney Tunes used to come on during intermission, or it was before the movies in the theaters back then. And so that's why it was like Merry Melodies. Like this would play before the film of whatever they were watching back in the 30s and 40s and shit. So
did somebody have a
That's what I was like, is there a train going by?
that was a train going by. So my mic just picked it up.
Damn, your mic is bomb.
But yeah, so like in when they started doing the modern cartoons in like the 70s, like even the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and even in the 90s, when they started like making stories for these cartoons, the animators and stuff started putting their own little stuff in there. Like you could even like look at Disney films and you could see the adult stuff they snuck in there. Everybody knows about the cover of the Little Mermaid VHS, and now there's a dildo on there. But anyway, so there's like the only reason people attribute cartoons to children is because they're cartoons. It's animated. It was always meant for people of all ages. Now, when they started making adult cartoons and anime spawned, and like then they started
Eon
seeing
Flux.
violence. And exactly, Eon Flux, and like, oh man, oh, when Akira came out, and like, oh, but like, oh no, what is this? Like
The brothers
people got
grunt.
upset,
The
but
brothers
like,
grunt.
but like even going back to like the 90s when me and Scooter grew up, they're like, we're all gamers here. We all read Tips and Tricks. We all read Game Informer, Game Pro, EGM, Electronic Gaming Monthly, and all those. We all remember 93, 94, 95 when Mortal Kombat came out and every parent in the country was trying to stop their children from playing video games.
Not my
And
parents.
and there was a lawyer named Jack Thompson. Y'all remember him? Tried
Yep.
to get video games banned in the Senate of the United States. There were hearings and shit. He was trying, like, tried to make every video game adult only. Eventually, he got disbarred like 20 years later, but that took too long. So,
Right.
but
Because it's clearly crazy.
like, so like the first and the term for them on social media is snowflakes. People that get sensitive about issues were, and I'm gonna say this with reverence, were the religious folk. Like, this was satanic, this was that, because y'all remember, like, y'all were children of the 80s and teens of the 90s. Y'all probably, when was the satanic panic? Wasn't that in
I
the
think
80s?
I think that was in the 80s. It was
The
dealing with
satanic panic, like when everything was getting like basically witch hunted, as this was attributed to Satan. Like people were still burning books. You couldn't listen to Elvis. Like you can go back to Elvis. His dancing caused women to want to have sex. Come on. Like, like people were getting upset about everything. And like, the generation, like my generation, and then the generation after me and Scooter, basically, as each generation goes on, they get smarter. We learn more about the human experience. So psychologically, scientifically, we learn more. We basically 50 years ago, what we used to say, like, you were just insane and we throw you in an asylum. Oh no, you just have a syndrome. You like, it's
I
just
was just on my period.
like, yes, like, that's it. Back then, like, oh, you had a headache. Oh, here, let me get this hammer and chisel and put a new hole in your skull to relieve the blood. Oh, you got this disease? Lay in this bathtub because the leeches are the oldest in ocean. So, people used to put leeches on you to get the disease out. So, as people have we've gotten smarter, we've learned to identify issues and what causes those issues. Now, the reason it's so widespread now is because technology.
Yeah.
So, internet allowed people to connect. Phones put basically a supercomputer by the definition in everybody's pocket. You can record, basically you have the whole internet at your fingertips, so you have information at the snap of a finger, and
Yeah.
so you can react instantly. And so it's just basically being not basically being clocked. Like every time something happens, everybody's opinion is there. And so like back then, like your generation and before, internet wasn't around. Like you wanted to call somebody, you had to, press the buttons. Before that, you had to rotary. Before
Rotary.
that, you had to send a letter. Before that, you
Did
had to
y'all
send a
use
picture.
rotary phone?
I remember
Yeah,
they taught us in school, but I never saw one.
Taught you in school how
They
to
taught
use
us how
one.
to use one,
I've
Y'all don't
I've
know
I
about
used
actually
one.
I've actually used one.
Was it at a
I
but
used
museum?
one too.
No, it was at one of my great aunt's house.
Because I mean, like, I remember growing up as a little person, and that's the phone we had in the house. And if you fuck up, oh,
Start
hang
over.
up. Whew. But that was before area codes too. So it was like you
yes.
just
So
dialed
like
seven
like
numbers.
the further you go back, the more years you go back, the harder it was to get information from point A to point B.
With the
Now
birth.
information goes from point A to every letter, including Z. So
Mhm.
it's like it doesn't take as long to get to, like, something could happen in California 50 years ago. New York would never hear about it. Like,
Yeah.
unless
Oh
it
yeah.
was major and like country changing, New York would never hear about it. Now, oh, this person like had a high speed chase and ran over 18 people. Oh, okay. Like, you see video of it. It's like, oh shit. Like, like I just saw a video today on Twitter. A gas line erupted in the Gulf of Mexico and now the ocean's on fire.
Oh,
So,
well,
like,
that's
yeah,
unfortunate.
the ocean is
There's
on
always
fire.
something going on in the Gulf of Mexico.
Yeah, there's somebody talk about, you think they just go put some water on it? And somebody else posted another video. They actually did. They had trolleys out there with boats shooting water jets at it.
I worry about us.
I always do.
We aren't meant
I
to
always
last.
do.
So just like, but that's the
But
only reason I think people are sensitive these days is the advent of technology getting better, faster, more information, and people becoming more aware of what causes issues and psychological issues and how people are affected by those issues. Now, people from your and Zerg's generations, Aranya, like, they were told to basically walk it off, to put it simply. Something
that's why
happened
we're
to you,
talking.
walk it off. Like shit can't hurt you. Like, that's why, like, they say, like, people from your generation, like that generation and before, are basically running around with loads of mental problems because they never actually got to deal with the shit. Like, so, but that's the only reason, like, people are sensitive these days. And, like, because, like, because we got on this from cartoons, a show we all loved because we've all talked about it, Ren and Stimpy. Could not fly today. Could not fly today. It
Well,
was,
I think also too. It's not only that. I think what starts to happen is that with the whole sensitivity thing and the generational thing, what truly starts to happen, in my opinion, is too many people with voices started voicing their opinion. And take Ren and Stimpy. You have this group of people who would fucking burn Ren and Stimpy to the ground and never watch an episode.
Right.
never,
They would only
never
see
watched an
maybe this
episode.
one clip. They only see maybe this one clip that somebody posted online, and they'll just be like, "Oh my god, this is on TV these days."
Yes.
So
Perfect
that's
example
the
of
other
that
issue.
is like the mini episode me and Scooter did like last week or so about Last of Us Part 2.
Yes.
Back before this game released, because it had just hit its 1 year anniversary like a week or so ago. Before this game came out, it was originally supposed to come out in, what was it, like April or May 2020,
Mm-hmm.
and it got delayed and pushed till June. So, bunch of people, because we have been waiting for this game for 7 years since the first
Something
one.
like that.
So, because the first one came out in 2013, so some people got upset, hacked in, and like did whatever they did, and they leaked some stuff about the game, the story, some
No, it ain't no
scripts or
secret.
some shit
No,
about the
the
game. They
whole
put it
script.
online.
No, the whole script came out.
Like it. I think there was the whole script. Is that like people got upset basically with the direction of the game, and and a lot of people never played the game, never seen a cutscene, never played a second of it, even after it came out. Still say to this day it's one of the worst games ever because it pushes an agenda, but it doesn't push a single agenda. Like, and we had this whole conversation last week. There is nothing in this game that wasn't in the first one. Nothing. They want to talk about the LGBTQ characters. They were in the first one. They want to talk about people dying. Happened in the first one. Like, it was like and some of them even admit it. They never played a single minute of it. But it's the worst thing ever, and they never will touch it. But how do you have an opinion on it? Like,
But
I can look at this meal that's just been cooked, and I'll be like, that shit nasty. Have you tasted it? No. Like, you
I
can't.
think too, as people have gotten older, like me and Scoop were talking about the club. So of course, and I'm not talking about you, Zert, but like Trina and I, we went to the club like 6 days a week. Scoop was like, yeah, by the time I got ready to go to the club, he was like, I heard they was choking people out.
No, wait, no, hold on, boss. My exact words was, I wasn't going to the club because folks was still getting stomped out to Little John songs. I wasn't going to become a statistic.
So he was like, he didn't go. And I have been to a meal, and I told him, I was like, we went out every day of the week. We went to the Kappa. We went to Louisiana pre-Katrina. We was everywhere. And what you talking about? I'm like this. Now I may have, struck somebody once or twice because I was crazy, y'all. I'm better now. I'm old, but it wasn't nobody getting stumped out. And I went to every club there was. Like, I parking like pimps, everything. And I was like, I feel like people who weren't able to do that missed out because it was a fun social time. It was a lot of fun. Going to clubs and actually talking to people and not being in your fucking cell phone, actually meeting humans and being like, oh, I meet you at the bar and I'm going to give you a drink and we're going to have a conversation, or we're going to get cute. Like, I'm going to put my makeup on. We're going to drive up to Cloud9. Ew, shout out to Cloud9. Yeah, they don't exist no more. And we're going to drive through the parking lot and see who we meet and be like, hey, how you doing? And it's other people outside waiting to be met. I'm like, I love the internet. Don't get me wrong. Everybody knows that I date online. Okay. It's just that very thing is what I miss. The interaction between people, like meeting people for real, and not just picking your favorite pictures where you look the best. And then you actually get there and you be like this, who the hell when did you take this picture? High school? Natural interactions.
Now, with that being said, Zerk, was there any reasons why you wasn't a club goer and stuff like that? Or just, did you have any reasons why you wasn't club hopping?
Surprise, he was a glower in the rave with the sticks and just dancing with the headband.
No, I guess best I can say is maybe I was like introverted as a kid.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things that I should have done.
Okay.
Especially when I was a teenager, that I should have did, and like, how you make, when you're in high school and stuff, you make like those lifelong friends. Y'all still friends. Mm-hmm. I didn't make my lifelong friends until I got into college. Okay. I mean, I guess people I'm still cool with in high school, but people I can bona fide, like for instance, one of the lifelong friends I made my freshman year in college, a guy named Dafia, to this day, because we had a crew, and to this day the crew is still friends. Like, when Dafia came to town, I went to where he was. He let me know he was in town. He was at his brother's house. I went to his brother's house. We got a partner in Japan talking about when are we coming out there? When I'm coming. We got a partner in California. When my birthday rolled around, he hit me up, happy birthday. So those, like, I didn't do, like, I was kind of like late to the game.
I was early in that bitch, like.
And see, now, Boss and I was hearing those stories.
Huh?
I said Boston. I
Like-
was hearing those stories.
Like, yeah, like, so the reason, like, because I wasn't a club goer. Like, I went to some lounges, I went to a rave, but no, like the club, no. Like, it's because of that one right there that I've been to more clubs in the past few years than anyway. But
But hold on.
I
Before you
mostly
continue,
was
hold on, boss. Before
Mhm.
you continue, I have still never technically been to a club.
I
really.
can change that. I can change your life. I'm telling you, I can change your life.
We gonna change that. We gonna change that.
We have to take it to
But
CrossFit Park. I mean, it's not a club, but still lines.
look, hey, bar and grill with loud noises is technically a club these days.
every time we go to prospect, well, you know what? I won't say every time, but there are times when we've had a prospect park trip, and I come back with new ratchet music I like.
See, it's
Whether
fun.
we go to Prospect Park or the address, we got to go to one and we got to get Scooter acclimated.
Or
So,
50-15, 50-15, hey, the new
Yep.
spot.
yeah.
It scares
So,
me.
but yeah, so like I never went to one when I was like a teenager. Like I didn't want to go to one of those teen clubs.
I
Like,
did.
there was that one over there on what
You
was it,
didn't have to
20
worry about getting stomped out to Lil Jon, Crime Mob, and Lil Scrappy either.
the one
was
over
going to the
there
club during that
2234, the spot over there by Cinema 6 or whatever.
Yeah, I know.
No,
Me
so
and my cousin wanted to go to, as I heard about it, it was a teen club called, I think it was Club Down Low, was what it was called. I think that's what it was called. I remember hearing about it on the radio.
Concerned.
Yeah.
you walk into an empty room and the boss music come on.
I've been hearing on radio. It was a teen club, I think that was the name. I can't remember, to tell you the truth now. But anyway.
Wait, hold on. So my brother's listening, and he just said that he got to take me to a club, well, actual club, and not with just people just standing around.
Oh, you gonna dance?
I mean, if the music,
I've been to one. I've been to one of those. I've been to one of those back when I was working at the ballet. I wasn't a dancer, everybody. I was slanging VIP tickets for the ballet. So I was
Don't
basically
ever say
promoter,
slanging VIP tickets.
slanging VIP tickets. No,
that's what it sounded like to me.
it sounded like it
You
though.
said slanging. I mean, to us, slanging is a part of hustlenomics.
Mm-hmm.
It means you selling drugs.
But two of my coworkers, one of them had their birthday party in Montrose, and she wanted to have it at, what's the name of it, Avant Garden, and that's a little like lounge type club with this outdoor area, outdoor stage. And no, because when you go inside, it's a small bar on this wobbly wooden floor that had like hills and valleys in the wood because it had warped for some reason. And that night we couldn't go upstairs because there was a costume mask party going on.
Uh-oh.
So
Even these quotations make it seem like there are other implications.
Eyes
it
wide.
was in the middle of Montrose. Okay.
So look here, boss. When you say things like that, you have to follow it allegedly.
Okay.
We don't want to
So
besmirch
there
people.
were allegedly things going on up there, but we knew if you didn't have an invite, a costume, and a mask, you couldn't go up these stairs to this party. So we couldn't go up there. And so basically, after we had drank and like basically walked around this place a bit, we went to this place called Blur. That's also in Montrose. So Aranya, by her reaction, knows what this club is, which is a gay club. I walked in there. It was like me, two other dudes, and like 5 other women in our party.
Wait a second. You know what just came to mind? When you walked in there, did that music from Police Academy played when they went into the Blue Oyster?
No, but it was a lot of bright lights, and I didn't know what kind of club it was because I was not a clubber.
Wait. Before you finish your story, make sure if you're gonna say anything that's gonna hurt feelings, you replace some things or skirt around it. Okay.
Look. I am the most progressive member of the ninjas here. So everybody, no, I ain't gonna hurt no feelings. So walked in there. I did not know what kind of club it was till I got through the door, and I had to cut. You had to go around the rope, and then you had to walk through this hallway, and there's a window, and I could see into it. And then I look up, and I can see dancing on the table is about a 6 foot tall blonde dude in rainbow panties and suspenders, just blowing a whistle, dancing. I'm just so I walk in. I continue on. We get to where we going. I get hit on the way to our section, like no less than 4 times. And so I'm just like, shit, I'm the shit up in here. And so we get to our section. I get me a drink. And so like we there for like maybe an hour, and then we go and get food. But like that was my first time in like a club where people were dancing, shit was happening, and like, but yeah, man, I'm not a clubber. Like the loud noises.
I
prefer a bar and grill with loud noises that is diluted, or a lounge. Like, like I can do a lounge. Like that's on me. Or like, just a get together at somebody's house. A house party, if you will. But
for the viewers, in case you didn't know, I'm the party girl, and I'm probably the most LGBTQ plus member of the group. So any club you name it, I've probably been there. It doesn't matter. I like to go and have a good time. I'll be there like having fun. I love clubs. I love lounges. I love bars. I love outdoor parties, indoor parties.
I've heard many a different club story of Aranya's adventures. So I won't mention any of the outcomes here because
wait a minute.
My tales to tell.
Aranya's adventures? That sounds like something on Skinamax.
No, it need to be on Hustle channel, not the Playboy channel, the other channel.
Oh,
Spice,
the one that Juicy J watches.
Because I enjoyed. I'm not a late bloomer. I enjoyed my 20s very much so, and then I tried to be a better person in my 30s. And
how'd that work out?
And so now in my 40s, we gonna redo it. And I'm trying to be better, and I'm trying to. I don't go out as much.
You took the cartridge out, blew it, and put it back in.
Yeah, but I'm trying to be more sophisticated with it. So it's an experience. But like I told them at the pool party, you can always tell an old thought when they play certain songs, and you instantly put your hands on your knees and be like, oh, people looking at me. Never mind.
Which one
always
was it?
comes out.
Which one?
I don't want to talk about. I don't want to talk about.
Which one was it?
Cash Money taking over for the 99.
No. Here's the one. Here's who it is, Scooter. Any Louisiana rap record. There you go. That's the one it is.
Song, any Cash Money song.
The Bunny Hop. Any one of them. Look.
And they were all 3 of us. We are all in the same age group. We were like, and then I was like, oh no.
People so I take it that you lost your mind when Manny Fresh came on the mic talking about, give me your hot one. I got one, can take it up in, shake it down. Me and a friend, biggity bounce, slide, ride, shake the thing to the right, push it down, push it up. Boom, you're done.
Dynamite. Hey! I went to every Cash Money concert. Every Cash Money concert. Please, every Cash Money concert.
I didn't become aware. I didn't get really immersed. Well, I wouldn't call it immersed, but more experience with rap music until I went away to college. I went to a black college. So that's all I heard. I went to a black college in New Orleans. So that's all I heard. That's when I didn't know Cash Money existed till I got there. Because like every time TV, like I'm hearing they were playing videos. So I heard and then having the DJs there. So I fell in love with well, I would say fell in love, but I like that Back That Thing Up by DJ Jubilee, because I kept hearing that a lot. The Big Ballin' by Big Timers. Whoa, Kimosabe. I like that one there.
Watch it. Gator boots with a pimp that Gucci suit.
You all right?
Ain't got no job,
Turn it
but
up.
I stay sharp.
Like, turn it up. I'll be like, turn it up, boss. Come on. I'll be like,
Can't pay my rent because all my money's spent.
man.
But that's okay because I'm still flying. Oh,
and he
man.
looked at me in the car because I'm like, and he's looking at me like, look at you. And I'm like, this.
Look, one of Arania's
girl.
favorite memories with me is when she scared the absolute shit out of me. like, I'm driving and a song come on. And in my ear. Go ahead, Arania. I'll wait till you fit that subsides. Go ahead. You can tell it. Because you remember, and then whenever it pops in your mind, it chuckle fit just like Zerk. And you start tearing up, your throat get dry. Look at you, tears.
Because we were getting ready to pull in traffic. And he pulled up and he looked this way in traffic. And I was like, what? And my man locked up and the look on his face, he didn't know what to do. He didn't know to be scared or to hit the gas.
Look, we almost died that day because I'm looking left watching traffic. She in my ear. Why was my man locked up? Christ.
He didn't know what to do.
I almost hit the gas and pulled us out and we was almost dead. DD on arrival. DOA. You understand? Dead on arrival.
What song was this that came on?
This was what this was Master P and what was it? And Mr. K rap on beat, Silk the Shocker. Oh
my God.
Hey.
Was it who?
Hey, we ain't about to start being besmirching Silk now. Okay.
Look,
What song was it? That's good. That's
world's first deaf rapper, Silk the Shocker. There you go.
We are not about to start besmirching Silk the Shocker, okay?
What you call him, boss?
The world's first deaf rapper. He never heard a single beat before he started rapping.
Blasphemy.
We will not get on here and start besmirching Silk the Shocker.
I don't say I get ratchet, but I sometimes surprise Irania with certain songs that I like. You know,
Absolutely.
Look, I like the song "Left, Right, Left" by Drama. You know, I still like it. Like when it came out, get on up, get on up, get on up, right there.
Right, left.
Yeah, ain't ready for the street.
Because but for the viewers, just so you can kind of get a feel for our personalities, Zerk is very reserved. Like he's normally the one sitting there chilling, in the cut. I'm the loud one. I'm always like, and I rap and I talk loud and I'll step on somebody's foot. So when it comes to Zerk just hollering out a rap song, you go, how do you know that song? Like, where did you hear that?
Most of them come from Port Arthur or Sunnyside or Cloverleaf.
And it's funny because it's just like you go, how do you know? And I always tell them, I'm like, how do you know that song? Because of course I know the songs because again, I spent most of my life in New Orleans. It's like, oh, where you gonna go for the weekend? I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go run to New Orleans real quick. Like it was down the street.
Oh, here we go.
Sweet Jones. I'm Pimp C Trick. I got money to burn. I got a two-way freak and she ready to earn. I make her open it up. I can make her give me some more. I got the Bentley right side and she ready to go. Wrote a blah blue, but I'm a ride red. I just got back from the pen. Like
There you go.
We can do it again.
And you go, how do you do that? Like it's always like I see a unicorn. I'm just amazed.
I'm up early because my nights gonna sell dope out the nighttime.
Ashley does the same.
I had that album.
Ashley does the same thing when there's certain songs that I know that Ashley know and love. I'll be like, "What you know about this?" Oh, like, wait, you like this song? So trust, I know the feeling.
My roommate back in college, he went to high school in Memphis, so I got hip to Player Fly in 3-6 Mafia. The dudes across the hall from us was from ATL, so that's how I got hip to Pastor Troy with that We Ready and
We Ready.
No, not that was the one as
no. We Ready was what's his name?
You think about I know what one you're talking about. I think the guy's name was Archie Lee or something like that.
Yeah,
Archie Lee.
Yeah. Now, Pastor Troy had a song. The album's called "We Ready, I Declare War." I think he was like some Master P diss on there and stuff like that. But yeah, I got hip some of that crunk music. Hanging out with him. Well, like, cause we were roommates, so listening to his CD collection. I remember when he came back to the room because 3-6 Mafia put out the Hypnotized Camp Posse album. With all the folks on their record label, the Project Pat, all them, Troy. Got hip to Project Pat. Project Pat got that weird way of rapping. So you wonder.
One of the most underrated rappers of all time. Yeah, I said it.
Creep up from behind her, shoot you in your spine, slap it like a minor, patch at your his head, scrub let you rizzy. Yeah, I know that one. I don't know the name of the song, but it's on the Hypnotized Camp Posse album.
See? You see what I'm talking about? Y'all see how it's like this?
Normally, I don't know. With the music I listen to, I don't know if you call it this, Aranya, or if Trinika called it this, but one of y'all called it vampire music.
Yeah.
I can't remember which one of y'all called it that.
It was me.
Yeah.
Night of the Vampires.
Yeah.
He likes to listen to a lot of music that, number one, you're like, is somebody talking or are they just grunting? And then it's a lot of music. It's not a lot of words.
I'm not crazy about like the death growl, like death metal and all that. I don't really like that stuff. Now there are some songs that I like where maybe one of the vocalists may come in with some death growls, but it's not like the entire song. But you got some people that's just really into death metal, and the death metal, all it is
nervous. When I used to go to Toke and Tonic, I'd be like, if we don't listen to this, I'm gone. I can't. It makes me nervous. I feel like somebody's standing on my shoulder. There he is. Sorry, don't work for me. And I'm like this. And I'm not a real big instrumental fan. Ain't that right, boss?
Mm-hmm.
I tell him all the time, I'm like, is this just the music? And he'll be like, yeah, turn it. I like words. I am very that person. I like to hear the words. I don't want to hear just the music. Unless we sing karaoke.
Y'all off topic, but I had a little minor while I was working overnight. Little minor Zerk out. Just minor. Of course nobody was there. It's just something that
Here we go.
Here you go. It's coming.
We got action.
Man, hold up.
We got action.
Oh man. It's one of those things that to understand why it's so funny, you have to understand the history of the person and why it's so
It's over.
Can't even get the story out.
This is what happened.
He's done for.
Man.
He finna have tears.
Hopefully this streamer he Well, you know what? It is what it is. But you know that one. I might have showed y'all that guy. That one. He's a Twitch streamer, but like he gets angry, be throwing the controller and everything like that.
Yep.
Well,
Mhm.
this guy has like a legion of trolls. Like people, they just get on his stream just to troll him. I mean, they have taken trolling to a whole new level. Like there's some footage where they found like he I think he mistakenly may have showed his phone number on stream. The trolls would call his phone while he was on stream. They figured out where he lived. They would send hookers to his house. It's that bad. But why this is so funny?
Here it is. It's happening.
Oh, like I say, it's funny to me because I understand the background and the context, and it's just the way the guy said it. The dude that's getting trolled was playing a game, and somebody I guess must have joined the game, but they joined the game just while they were trolling him, but they were saying all the kind of stuff that he be saying. You know, the way he gets mad, they were just saying it. You know, just rolling. It didn't make any sense. Is what made it so funny. They were just rolling out the stuff he said. You know, you guys do this stuff. You know, this, that, and the other. You know, I'm trying to make a payment check here. Oh, Wendy's chili. This the Wendy's chili comment that took me out because it came out of left field. And because apparently the guy that trolled, he likes Wendy's chili. But the all this other stuff talking about, guys, where was my help? Nobody's helping me. You guys don't know how to play. You know, you need to do this. You need to come help me. You know, I'm trying to make a payment check here. And Wendy's chili. Big old bowl. It's just the way it came out of left field that it was just so hilarious. I was just walking to the vehicle last night, and I'm laughing because I'm thinking about Wendy's chili.
No.
Oh man. Like, oh my gosh. Oh man. I have my moments. I think but last time, you know what? Rest his soul, but I know I had some moments on Michael Pyro. He got to experience it.
Yeah.
When we talked, I don't know why it was so funny to me at that moment. Well, I tripped out when I was talking about that scene and
Oh.
What happened?
The sudden and immediate.
Oh man. Oh man.
He can't see.
No.
It was that part and I'm gonna get you sucker when they went to that club when they did that shakedown at the club and everybody was wearing the big hats, but they had the midgets hiding underneath the heads like, oh, you midgets,
See, y'all, this is what we talk about. He go into his last attempt, and you be like,
this will happen for a while, y'all.
It tickles him.
Man, just talking about the midgets. They was midgets underneath the people's hats. I mean, come on, who does that? Who thinks of that? You know, I've seen the movie a dozen times.
Of course.
I don't know why it got funny all of a sudden at that moment. Why?
Wait, young people, have y'all seen I'm Gonna Get You Some?
Oh my God.
Yes,
Okay. Wait, let me
I have seen it. I've seen it 3 times.
Let me explain something to you. There are older movies I have not seen. I will admit that. But I'm aware of a lot of things around you. I'm not as new to the world as you think.
I didn't say all of that. I just asked if the young people
telling you,
had seen it.
Yes, I've seen I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker. I remember one of the funniest parts when my brother and I was watching it with old dude had the fish in his shoes. And the moment them shoes broke, my mother screamed out, "Fish dead! Fish dead!"
Oh, oh no, no, no.
They had a part that, looking back on it, is funny. I think about it and be repeating it because it's funny and like you just kind of miss it. This is the scene where Jack Slade, Jack Spade went to go talk to Slade, Bernie Case's character, when they was at the event where the gangs were having that triathlon. And he was talking about the problem with gold chains. And Bernie Case was like, man, I seen it. But you know what I really can't stand? Is a young brother. And y'all, when he said this, he was disgusted. That's what made it so funny. The way he said it was what was funny. When you see a young brother with that cheap electro gold plated stuff around his neck, and it turned into this funky green. He's like, and it turned into this funky green rash with these bumps and shit, and it makes you want to puke. It's the part he's like, it with these bumps. This is why he said bumps. Like he is just completely just sickened by it.
Disgusted. That movie is hilarious. It's a hilarious movie.
Yes. Yes, it was.
So with the conversation, Aranya, anything you want to add to it?
Y'all missed the Kappa Beach party.
we
did.
Y'all missed it. You missed it.
Boss, anything you want to add to the conversation?
No. Well, y'all missed some good TV and some good. Y'all missed some good shit too, because y'all were like didn't give it a chance because you were too old or whatever. But y'all missed some good stuff. So
we caught some good stuff in our older years. I mean,
Zerk, anything you want to add?
We caught a couple of good things in our older years because they didn't come out till we got older. We were in high school when Cow and Chicken, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Laboratory, and Courage the Cowardly Dog came out. Yeah, I used to watch all of them. Huh? What'd you say, Scoop?
None.
I used to. No, what'd you say?
None.
Youngster, what did you say? Yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
Grown and sexy is what we're called.
I said nothing at all.
Grown and sexy.
I said nothing at all. Mm-hmm. Nothing at all.
Jerk. You're a jerk. You're a jerk. Jerk.
I might have typed something, but I never said nothing.
No, you said it out loud.
Look at Kimbo, like you can kiss this old one.
He told you. Oh, boom, boom.
Okay.
Oh.
Old big worm sitting over there,
big worm.
But I would just say personally, yes, there are differences between Boss and I and Aranya and Zerk, but I'm the type of person to where if it's really that good, I will try to go back and learn something on it because I never want to be completely left out the dark on some things. Like there are some TV shows or movies or songs that y'all can recommend, and I'll be like, nah, fam, I'm good. But there are some things to where I would actually want to kind of know about because, you never know when you're in a situation like this where you can talk to people of different generations and you kind of want to be able to hold a conversation at least. Like I remember, to kind of steer it a little bit towards rap. Somebody was talking about this person was arguing me about favorite rappers and they was 19. And it was like, shut up. Like you can't talk to me about favorite rappers at 19. Like, So but yeah, so I'm a type of person to where I will try to go back and learn certain things. Like I said, certain things, not everything, but because I don't want to be completely just left out. But I did catch a lot of older TV, movie, and music. So I'm not completely out the know on certain things.
I just thought about something. I think we were shaped as gamers by different gaming periods.
Mhm.
So Aranya and I were shaped by the 8-bit era. So like NES. I know Aranya played some PC computer
I
games.
played Atari too.
God
I,
damn.
I played
Hey,
20
hey, hey!
because we
I
had
didn't play nothing.
we played the 20. We had one, so I didn't play that. But I don't think I really started turning into a gamer until I was given a Sega Master System. So it was we are children of the 8-bit era. That's what formed us. I think you guys were formulated by the 16-bit era
I
because when
had
y'all
NES
yeah,
Here's
see,
the thing.
and Sega.
when y'all see, I think that when you guys were becoming, like I was saying, like formative years, becoming aware, the
Oh no,
8-bit
PlayStation.
the 8-bit era was dying down.
No, it was really PlayStation. I would say because,
PlayStation,
like I said, I mean,
Yeah,
I
because you were
I
born in
personally
86.
had I personally had an NES and Sega, but really being aware of what I'm truly playing and know what's happening, PlayStation one.
yeah. I would say the same thing. Like
Yeah.
Maybe.
first game I ever played, like I played the NES at my
Whatever.
cousin's, and it had
Whatever.
the Duck Hunt and Super Mario Brothers dual
You just
pack in
mad our
one cartridge.
graphics were better.
Not at all. Not at all.
But like that was like one of the first games I played. The first game I ever had was like an Apple II, and they had football that I had to play with a flight stick and two buttons.
That's
So,
right.
but when I became aware of being a gamer was right around the tail end of the 16-bit era. So Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, and the advent of the
Okay, Biggie.
32-bit era with Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1. And like because when those came out, it was like, oh yeah, like this is what I am. Like this is my shit. Like
Mm-hmm.
like I had replayed. Like I remember going to Funko Land and Toys R Us, getting slip out the wall, taking it up to the counter at Toys R Us, or going to Funko Land and being like, "Where's the newspaper? What you got on sale this week?" Like so
That thin ass paper in Funko Land.
right? That paper was thinner than any other newspaper you could ever go and find anywhere.
It's like the
Like,
Scholastic News.
They were selling cleaning kits.
shit, that was thinner than the independent papers in your local school. Like, but so like it was the Sega Saturn playing like like Virtual Cop and Virtual Fighter and
Night.
Bug Knights. Yes, and
One
like
of my favorite
Tekken.
games.
And so like, oh man, Sonic 3D Blast and other shit like
Well,
that.
so as you can see, Boss and I say or do, we're always going to be youngsters to Zerk and Aranya. So that's just something, Boss. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to just live and deal with
Boss
forever.
is used to me saying he was born in '92, so it's fine.
Damn. Shit. Why 92?
It's easier.
You know me,
for her.
and you know I'm random.
All right. Well, with that being said, final thoughts by anybody? Final thoughts?
Those differences make us a great team.
Yes,
they do. They do.
It
gives us a very diverse range of opinions on different things. So like it makes
Hey, boss. Mike said you was listening to some classics with the Sega Saturn.
Oh man, I know. I had every one of them. Like, oh man.
But
like,
I'm sorry. Go back
Bug,
to your
Virtual
point.
Fighter. Like, oh man, Saturn. It was dead on arrival. Like you just don't. That was just Sega's biggest mistake in history. You just don't like go to E3 and be like, "We have a new console. It's out now." What? What? You don't do that.
Yeah, why would Japan?
Like,
Well, yeah,
like
I mean,
they did well in Japan, but then
yeah.
yeah, but PlayStation killed them. And then they tried to come back, and then
Nobody told
PS2
me.
killed them further. So
I think a couple of systems that were released here that didn't do well here, but did well in Japan. I know the TurboGrafx 16 didn't do well here, but it did well in Japan. Saturn. I don't know how well the Dreamcast did here.
it did all right here, but it was dead on arrival. Like it didn't sell because people were waiting for other things, and that other thing
and it
came.
didn't have a DVD player.
That's correct. That other thing came a year later, and they had a DVD player, which was the cheapest DVD player at the time you could get on the market.
Was the PS2.
So, the PS2, which is still to this day the best selling console of all time. So but man,
So I'm gonna go ahead and squeeze this in here because we're all here. And we have not done this in a while. So we're gonna try to make it as quick as possible. So guys, I did a list. The 10 most expensive horror movies.
Wait a minute.
And when they mean expensive, it means expensive to make.
Okay.
Now, to help y'all out with this list, there are no slashers on this list.
Mm-mm.
And most of these movies aren't the traditional horror movies.
What was the title? I'm sorry.
10 most expensive horror movies.
Expensive.
That means cost to make. Like
I know what the fuck it means. I was thinking like what movie would be expensive.
No, because there's another list that I didn't get yet, but they had the 10 most horror movies that made the most money too. So that's why I was clarifying expensive as in it costs to make. Now, do y'all want to take a guess at some of these, or do y'all want me to just round them off for y'all?
Wait. You said there are no slashers, right?
No slashers.
Aliens.
No. Okay, well, take that back. Alien Resurrection was an honorable mention at 70 million.
Dang, that was a turd.
Damn.
It was. Let's see. Expensive to make, no slashers, and not a tradition.
Now remember, in this case, horror is very broad.
Crap.
The Shining.
So this would include sci-fi and horror.
Yes.
Okay, then what? Predator?
No.
Okay.
And this is like all times,
World
right?
War Z.
Yeah, all time. That was
World
number
War
one.
Z.
That was number
Good
one.
job. Good job.
Okay.
In between 190 and 260. They said what happened was, they said what happened was the budget was pretty simple, and then when the movie kept getting delays and reshoots and all that, it just ballooned the budget.
I was like Jurassic Park. Wait a minute. That was what just went through my head. I'm slow.
But to go ahead and round some of them off, number 10, Sleepy Hollow.
I was gonna say that one. I got another one, Van Helsing.
That was number 2. God damn.
Is that a horror movie?
They considered it one.
Look, I was like, is that a horror movie?
But yeah, number 10 was Sleepy Hollow at 70 million.
Sphere?
Number 9, huh?
Sphere?
No.
Is that a horror movie?
I think they consider it one.
What movie you said?
Sphere.
Sphere, yeah. Number 9 was The Haunting at 80 million.
Okay. What about 13 Ghosts?
No. Unfortunately.
Any Conjuring movie?
No.
No.
Surprisingly.
Ghost Ship?
No.
End of Days.
That was number 6.
What
at
was?
100 million. End of Days.
That's not a horror movie.
I think consider it a horror movie.
Well, that's because he was.
That's what I told you. That's what I said. Look at horror as very loosely based.
It's broad. That's why I'm saying
You saying movies. Shit. That ain't a fucking movie.
But yeah, Number 8 was Hannibal at 87 million.
Shout out to
It
Niecy.
took that much to make that movie.
Apparently, right?
What?
Number
They must have
6.
spent 80 of it on Gary Oldman's makeup. That's
I don't know, but it made that much.
No,
Like-
do you wait a minute? Gary Oldman was in Hannibal. You sure you're not thinking about Anthony Hopkins?
No, Gary Oldman wasn't Hannibal.
Gary Oldman. He was the dude in the
He was the guy in
wheelchair.
the wheelchair with the
wheelchair with the
face.
chewed up face.
Yeah.
Don't say chewed up.
Chewed up.
Well, it got chewed up at the end of the movie.
Well, he had the ugly face, and then he got ate by the pigs at the end of the movie.
He got ate up at the end. Number 7, Hollow Man at 95 million.
Is it a horror movie?
It is, and I understand why, because of the effects at the time.
Yes. Number 6, End of
Prometheus.
Days. Number 6, End of Days with 100 million.
Prometheus.
Hold on. Number 5, What Lies Beneath at 100
I was
million.
gonna say that. I was gonna say that.
I didn't know What Lies Beneath would have cost that much money to make.
Some of that was probably paying the salary for Harrison Ford and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Probably so. Number 4, what Boss just said, Prometheus, 120 to 130.
Okay.
Number 3,
I Am Legend.
no. Number 3,
Alien
The
Covenant.
Wolfman.
What year?
The
Which
Wolfman
one?
with what the one that came out with? Like,
Benicio?
yeah,
Benicio and Hopkins? The
Yes.
remake. Okay.
that one cost 150 to make.
Bram Stoker's Dracula.
No, that's all the list. That was the 10, and 2 was Van Helsing, 1 was World War Z. So when I saw this list, I'm pretty sure a lot of y'all was gonna make the face Aranya was making, because it was like that was a horror movie.
Right. It's not.
Now, honorable mentions: It Chapter 2 at 79 million, Signs with 72 million, Alien Resurrection at 70 million,
Turd.
Gremlins 2 at 50
Stop
million,
saying word.
and The Ring with 48 million.
Now I gotta say it now, Iran.
Wait a damn minute, man.
Okay. Whatever. They just did what they
The
wanted.
Ring cost 48 million to make.
Apparently.
Must have been all advertising.
Why? Right. I was like, I don't understand what cost. Like,
Like I said, it was honorable mention, so of course they didn't go into detail.
Maybe that brief stint where she crawls out the fucking TV.
that's what I was thinking. And I was like, it made a puddle on the floor, just melt some ice.
Or maybe,
Just, I don't understand.
or because they had to find a VHS tape as a prop. They spent most of the money on.
Look,
Trying to find one.
Yeah.
look, no, they had to hire a technician so the VCR wasn't blinking the whole damn movie. It was on the screen.
I figured y'all would get a slight kick out that list just to tear it apart, because I thought it was kind of funny.
Yeah, it's like,
You know, it would be a good list. A good list. Good horror movies that cost the least amount of money to make.
yeah.
Oh, that would be a good list.
That would be a good list to find.
But all right, people, that is this week's episode of Ninja Banter. Thank y'all for coming out. We appreciate y'all listening to us banter on. With that being said, Aranya, do you want people to follow you on socials? And if they do, and if you do, where can they find you?
Follow me on Instagram, Irania Mist. That's it.
Zerk, same. If you want people to follow you, where can they follow you?
Neon Xerxes _LTSN.
It's a warning to follow Boss, because you might get trolled, you might see some shit. So, with that being said, warnings out the way. Boss, if you want them to find and follow you, where can they do that at?
You can find me on Instagram at Cosmic Nerd Life. Exactly how it's spelled. Find me there, and like you said, like I post a lot on there. Well, not as much as I used to, but there's a lot of just randomness and wide variety of things on there. So just beware.
You can also find them at www.darkweb/penetrate.
And of course, myself, you can find me at the Scooter Ray, IG, of course, Twitch, TikTok, all the above. And like I normally do on the other podcasts, of course, you can find me with the Average Gamers, aka Tag. We do our wrestling podcast where we review both NXT and AEW. Those are usually on YouTube. Shouts out to Jaeger and Lip Dizzle. But with that being said, guys,
so
what's up?
Slide this in. So since you're the wrestling fan,
yeah, what you got?
Tell me this. WWE is like the biggest and the oldest. So when they be having these championships, how do they pick the winner? Since it's I'm looking at this around you. So since it's scripted, how do they pick the winner? Who's gonna win?
It's usually predetermined, depending on story. Depending on whatever story they're trying to tell, that's usually how it goes. Sometimes it can be changed due to popularity, but those are usually the main criteria: popularity, story-wise.
So who's the it person now? I know that some of the it people in the past was Goldberg, Steve Austin, The Rock, Triple H.
That's right. Yeah, right around the time Nate started leaving was when I stopped watching regularly.
So it's the shitty part about it now. They don't have anybody as famous as those guys, because the last one who's going to be that famous is going to be Batista and John Cena. But some of the it people now, you have the New Day, who I mentioned last week. You have Bobby Lashley, Drew McIntyre, Edge came back, which Boss actually saw at Royal Rumble last year when you got Roman Reigns. You have Bianca Belair, Charlotte Flair. You have a few. It's a long list of a few, but there will never be none that'll be as big as those guys. Like I said, John Cena and Batista will probably be the last two who would be that big to come out of wrestling.
This guy isn't big, but whatever happened to that guy, it was back in probably the 90s. I don't know. He was called the Cat.
Ernest Miller?
I
think he does training somewhere, I think.
Because he had his manager was Sonny Ono.
Yeah, Ernest the Cat Miller.
Yeah. Always talk about he was a martial artist and everything. So.
I think he really was. I think he actually really did win karate championships.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
But we still plan on streaming after this, guys, so that way we can let the people know.
Did Junkyard Dog ever win the championship?
No, unfortunately. Unfortunately. But with that being said, guys, we'll see y'all soon. We might be streaming tonight. It'll probably be Call of Duty. Who knows? Or if Aranya wants to play something, she'll let us know. We'll
be streaming. I'll be streaming
tomorrow. The way she's looking at me looks like hell no. But
I'll be streaming tomorrow with you
guys. But with that being said, y'all, peace out.
All right. See y'all later.
And we just trying to make our Ninja Village proud. Why won't this shit ever end?